Greetings and salutations, everybody. Lord X here, coming at you, and it's that time of the year again. That's right, it's time for a top 11 list. I was going to try and make this into a top 10, but there was no way I could have excluded number 11 on my list, so I have to make a top 11 this year. But this is my top 11 games of 2014. So, first off, disclaimer right away. I do have some runner-ups, so if you don't see a game on the list, maybe it's in my runner-up section. Secondly, there's games that I've bought but still haven't been able to play yet. Things such as Tales of Xillia 2, Conception 2, Children of the Seven Stars, and Our No Surge Ode to an Unborn Star. JRPG, JRPG, JRPG. You see where this is going. And then, of course, there's games that I still haven't bought yet, but want to, that possibly could have showed up on this list. Games like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and Captain Toad, Alien Isolation, The Evil Within, Far Cry 4, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, etc., etc., etc. So many games this year, so little time and so little money in order to afford them all. And last little note before we begin, I don't own an Xbox One, so Sunset Overdrive, stuff like that, I can't include on my list because I just haven't been able to play them. Maybe they could have shown up there, possibly, who knows. We'll probably never know. But yeah, other than that, I have 11 games here ready to go for you. And remember, this is only my opinion. These are my favorites from the year. Your list is going to be completely different from mine. And I respect that. And I want to hear from you what your top 10 or top 11, top 15, whatever games of 2014 are down in the comments below. So, yeah. Just leave your list down below. I know my list is not going to match up to your standards. And some of the games here I have are going to be completely nowhere on your list. So with that being said, let's get started. Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 hits the list at number 11, mostly because I never got around to really doing a great deal in the game, but what I did play was great, was exciting, and I did want to include it onto my list this year. The combat felt great, a lot better than Dark Souls 1, a lot better than Demon Souls for that matter. The game looked beautiful, it played great. I'm looking forward to the next gen upgrade that they're doing, so that's going to be cool. But yeah, Dark Souls 2, special place in my heart. I had to include it onto my list. It turned a top 10 into a top 11, so that should tell you something right there. Infamous Second Son. That's right, Infamous hits the list here at number 10, and if it wasn't for the other 9 games on this list, Infamous would be ranking higher, but unfortunately I can't do that. Even though this is maybe the most fun I've had out of a PlayStation 4 game, to be honest with you. Out of the first party titles anyway, the very few that there were this year. But yeah, Infamous was great. The story was so well told, in my opinion. The graphics were just incredible. The particle effects from like the smoke and neon powers, fantastic. The game was so good, so great, so fun to play. It was just so great using the powers that I played through the game twice in a row just to get the Platinum Trophy. And I mean, just to get the Platinum Trophy? No. Because it was fun. And playing good, you know, you're restricted a little bit. Playing evil, just didn't give a fuck anymore. You could go around blowing people up as much as you wanted to. So it was really fun. And Destin was a great character. I liked him a hell of a lot more than I did Cole. And his brother Reggie was great. And it was a bit emotional near the end. So yeah, Infamous ranks up there. I still haven't played First Light yet. It's free next month on PlayStation Plus, so who knows, maybe that would have gotten here on the list. But instead, Infamous Second Son. Coming in at number 9, it's the one, the only, Shovel Knight. That's right, this little indie darling hits my list at number 9. Only for the fact that I still haven't been able to play very much of it. I've gotten through a decent little bit, don't get me wrong, but the game just feels so good. It plays so nice. Just everything from the combat, to the music, to the graphical 8-bit style. It brings me back to my childhood playing the old Super Nintendo games, especially like Mega Man. Because Shovel Knight really has that kind of feel to it. The game just runs so smoothly. It's fantastic, and if you haven't played the PC version, which I have, or the Wii U version, or the 3DS version, it is coming to PlayStation next year, so look forward to that. If you have a PS4, I highly recommend it. I'll be buying it again, that's for damn sure, especially to play on the Vita. So yeah, Shovel Knight, go play it. It's awesome. And don't forget your shovel. Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. That's right, the next gen version of Shadow of Mordor, that is. This game really surprised me out of nowhere. To put it really simple, the game mechanics are like Assassin's Creed without the crap, without the glitches, plus the combat of Batman, the Arkham series. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and the game looks next gen, it feels next gen. The Nemesis system was phenomenal. Just the way it works, like if an orc kills you, they remember you, and they become your nemesis. It's unreal the way they made that enemy system work. It's new and refreshing every time you play. You and your friend will have like a completely different experience with the game. So yeah, Shadow of Mordor, it was a trip to Middle-earth that I really, really enjoyed. Back in 2012, there was one game that ruled it all for me, and that was The Walking Dead by Telltale Games. Fantastic story that left me an emotional wreck that year. So it's only proper that when Season 2 came out, it was going to make my top 10 list. Unfortunately, it drops down to number 7 because even though the game was really great and playing as Clementine was a whole new experience that left you with your own kind of like emotional attachment there, the game it didn't have as much of an impact as the first one did. The ending, again, was pretty emotional, the one that I had anyway was, and it did leave me crying, I'll admit that, but it doesn't stick with me as much as Season 1 did. That being said though, Season 2 is a really, really great game. It's worth experiencing for the story, to see where Clementine's tale has led her to now. You can either be a badass with her, be an innocent girl, it's your choice. But you may have to make some very, very hard decisions along the way. Oh yeah, a Wii U game that's made this list. It's Mario Kart 8, without the screen glare. So guys, I bought a Wii U this year, and I thought to myself, it's going to be fun. I'm going to have some fun times with this Wii U. It's going to be a brand new experience, but I didn't think I was going to get, a great game right away. Mario Kart 8 proved me wrong. I thought for sure going into this, it's going to be another Mario experience. Same old Mario Kart, same as like previous years and whatnot, but no! The game is absolutely beautiful, and man, they've only gotten better as time's gone on, and I've got to give Nintendo credit where credit is due, because I've had some of the most fun times this year playing my Wii U and playing Mario Kart 8, both alone, with friends. It's just been fantastic. The game runs in a smooth 1080p, 60 frames per second, and most of all, unlike a lot of other games this year, it actually works. Not only that, Nintendo showed how to do DLC right. Yeah, Mario Kart 8, it proves that Nintendo knows what they're doing, and it reminds me of the old Nintendo quality seal of approval. So yeah, thank you Nintendo for delivering on such an awesome game. So here we go, guys. We're hitting the top 5. These are the 5 games that struck me the most this year, that gave me the most emotional impact, the most fun, the most excitement I've gotten all year out of playing video games, experiencing my favorite hobby. So what comes in at number 5, you ask? Well, it's another downloadable title. It's another indie title. It's from the guys that do the UV art stuff. And no, I'm not talking about Rayman. No, I'm not talking about Child of Light. I'm talking about Valiant Hearts, The Great War. This game, at first I didn't know how I was going to really enjoy it, but the story of the game is by far one of the saddest stories I've ever experienced in a game, and they did such a great job telling about the hardships of World War I, and just like the emotional impact of both sides fighting in the war. How some people were ripped away from their families and actually forced to fight against their own family. And just the tale of what they went through was so good. And in the game there's various collectibles you can pick up, and every single one tells you a little bit of history about World War I. And there's notes about, various events that happened in World War I, which, reading them, it's like, wow. It's hard to believe those things really did happen in our history, so it tells you a great tale that way. And the characters themselves, their diary entries, talking about their experiences, and a lot of them will hit you right in the heart. Really hard. The game mechanics were pretty good, but story rules all here. And near the end of the game, really, it starts to drive home like how emotional things in World War I were, and the ending alone, you know what you have to do. But you don't want it to happen, but there's nothing else you can do. And the monologue that happens during that moment, it's heartbreaking. I'm almost tearing up right now just thinking about it. This game it told a narrative like no other game could this year. Just so good. Just absolutely so good. And I would recommend it to anybody. It's, as far as I know, it's on PC, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. If you own any of those platforms, buy Valiant Hearts: The Great War. You will not regret it at all. The game looks beautiful. It plays good. It's one of the Ubisoft titles that actually works this year. And it has by far probably the best narrative to come out of this year. Maybe. We'll see about that in a few entries from now. You know how I cheated putting in a number 11? Well, I'm kind of cheating here too, because number 4, I was going to say number 6, but number 4 is a tie as well. Kind of. It's Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and the 3DS. Let's go with the 3DS version first, because it came out first. Let's face it, we gotta do this one first. Whoever thought that Smash Brothers would work on a handheld system? But again, Nintendo shows they know what they're doing, because Super Smash Brothers for the Nintendo 3DS works, and it works well. The game is great, it's balanced well, the fighters are mostly all fun to play as. Rosalina sucks. Just throwing that out there. Hate me if you want. But the game, all the characters are great. The new characters, such as Little Mac, the Villager, the Wii Fit Trainer even, they're all good. They all work so well. And the extra modes, there's so much content in this game, so much to unlock, from trophies, to music, to everything. The new Smash Run mode is actually pretty cool in this version. So yeah, it's really cool. And things were only improved even more when they released the Wii U version. I think the only downside I can really say is the online's quite a bit laggy. They still haven't improved that, which boggles the mind, because Mario Kart 8 works so well. But yeah, the game runs so good on the Wii U. It looks so beautiful. Again, like the 3DS version, there's so much to unlock, so much to do. I wish there were trophies though. Like, you know, PlayStation trophies. Nintendo, get on that. Give us stamps or something. But yeah, the Wii U version of Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U is so good, so great. A lot of people will tell you this is the best Smash Bros. Since Melee. Personally, I did like Brawl, so it's the best one since Brawl for me. But other than that, yeah, Super Smash Bros. It earns a spot in my top 5 because it is so much fun to play. Nintendo reminds me why I'm a gamer and why I love the game. And Smash Bros. It's just good old gaming fun. Hell yeah, Bayonetta 2. This was one of the 2 reasons why I bought a Wii U. The second one's Xenoblade Chronicles X, which isn't out yet, but more to the point, Bayonetta 2 is so damn good! The story is funny and lighthearted. Sure, it's a lot, you know, sexualized, but that's Bayonetta as a character. And she's not just, you know, flaunting it like some floozy from the Dead or Alive series. She's owning her sexuality, and that's what makes her a great character. It makes the game, like, so funny in that way. Sure, it's going to be a little juvenile, but it's all in good fun. And yeah, this is the first rated M title I can think of for a Nintendo console in quite some time. The game also came with the first Bayonetta, so that's an extra bonus. You got unlockable costumes, so much to do. But what makes Bayonetta really awesome, why it hits my top 3, is the combat. The combat is so damn good in this game. Like, it's so smooth, fluent. The game is running in 1080p, 60 frames per second, and it looks gorgeous. Bayonetta 2 is probably the best looking game I have played all year. And I've played some PS4 games that look some really damn good, but Bayonetta 2 takes the cake because it's so colorful. And that's where Nintendo rules on the Wii U. Just like Mario Kart 8 and Smash Bros., Bayonetta 2 is so colorful. And it fits my style in the fact that I love JRPGs, I love the Japanese culture and whatnot. And Bayonetta 2 is pure on Japanese because you get some really outrageous scenes in this game. Like the very first fight scene, you're fighting on top of a jet that's flying through the city. It's insane, it's over the top, and it's so damn good. This game alone is a reason to buy a Wii U. I'm not joking. That's why it's number 3 on my list. So you may be asking yourselves, what can beat out Bayonetta 2? Well, remember earlier when I said that I played Infamous Second Son twice to get the platinum and just to have fun with the game more? Well, this next game I played 3 times in a row to get the platinum trophy, and because I loved it so damn much. And what game is that? Well, we're going back to the PlayStation 3, motherfuckers. It's South Park, The Stick of Truth. You know, I was kind of worried at first because this game kept getting delayed and THQ went under and Ubisoft of all people picked it up, so I was like, oh god. Oh god damn, what's going to happen to this game? And it's being done by Obsidian, which, you know, they're hit or miss. Some people love them, some people don't. But at the end of the day, this is by far one of the absolute best games of the year. One of the absolute best JRPG style games, because it fits the classical turn-based style JRPG. It's good. It's actually really good. The story is so good, so funny. The voice acting from Trey Stone and Matt Parker is, you know, off the charts as per usual. The twists, the turns, the combat, everything about South Park, The Stick of Truth, is really, really good. Yeah, you cannot get a better licensed game than this. If you're, you know, killing time waiting for the next season of South Park to start up, The Stick of Truth is a very, very good place to go. You can easily get it cheap nowadays, so do that if you can. I mean, I loved it so much, I got the collector's edition. Oh, I got it on sale. But, yeah, South Park, The Stick of Truth, there is no better licensed game than this. There, quite frankly, from what I've played this year, like I mentioned before, there are some JRPGs I haven't played yet. This is the best JRPG that came out this year. Except... now, if you know me, if you follow me on Twitter, if you've watched my previous videos, if you listen to the Canuck podcast, if you listen to the Gaming Leg Spike podcast, go check them out. Or if you're a member of the Outlaw Gamers Society, formerly known as Epic Battle Axe, you will know what my game of the year is. And that, of course, is Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. And, I'm cheating again, Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair. Together, these games are the absolute best that came out this year. And yes, I know they were released in Japan ages ago. I believe last year or year before on the Vita, and they were in the PSP long before that. But these two games are one hell of a roller coaster ride. The basic premise with the first one is that you're trapped in a high school, and that in order to get out, you have to kill a fellow student and get away with murder. So it's very dark humor here. But that's the thing, it's really funny too. Very emotional. The game left me crying several times. Because just like Game of Thrones, it doesn't hold back. Like, you will get emotionally kicked in the nuts several times. The very first person that died made me drop my Vita because I was like, oh shit, no, I was building an emotional connection with this person. I'm starting to really like them. And then they're murdered in the most brutalish fashion like imaginable. It was nerve-wracking. That being said, I played through this game in 4 days. It's about 50 hours long. There was no way I was putting this down until I got to the end, until I experienced the full story. and found out what was really going on, and saw all the twists and turns that happened, and there are a lot of them in this game. It is by far one of the absolute best narrative-driven games you will ever find. I honestly cannot praise this game enough. And then the sequel alone kind of offered some, like, what's going on here? How is this happening again? And then slowly you unravel the mystery of what's going on and what's really happening, and maybe some other characters, from the first game return. And yeah, the story just continues to be great. You get to learn more about the world they're in and what's really happening to everybody. And again, it's so funny. The court cases are so much fun again. So yeah, Danganronpa 1 and 2, I honestly cannot put into words how much I really love these games. And the sad part is, like, maybe not a whole lot of people are going to play them because they're exclusive to the Vita, and they're, JRPG. Many people are going to look at Danganronpa and say, what the fuck is that? But honestly, guys, if you love stuff like Battle Royale, or to a lesser extent, the Hunger Games, these are really good. And if you love an emotional journey like Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead by Telltale, I cannot recommend these two games enough. They deserve to be played. They deserve to be recognized. And if you don't have a Vita, and you don't have a plan on ever buying one or a PlayStation TV, I do recommend looking up a playthrough on YouTube, because the story is really worth experiencing. Though playing the games yourself, you will actually get a bigger emotional impact from them. The second game, for example, one of the characters, it's optional in between, like, which characters you're going to socialize with. I started socializing with one character, found out her entire, like, backstory, and at the end, like, figured out what she was really doing, and it was touching, it was emotional. It was like, wow, I'm really happy I experienced your story. And then she was the next person to be killed off. I honestly had to put down the Vita because my stomach felt sick. I felt like I had just lost a friend. The game left that much of an emotional impact on me. And I haven't felt that way since, the end of The Walking Dead Season 1. So yeah, Danganronpa 1 and 2. I recommend these games enough, guys, and that's why they are my Game of the Year for 2015. Wow, I'm going to the future. For 2014. So there you go, guys. That's my top 11 games of 2014. Got the year right that time. But of course there were runner-ups. Games such as Drakengard 3, which I really enjoyed. I thought the story was fantastic. I had it on my top 10 list for so long, but other games unfortunately had to take the place of it. Then of course there were, like, the remakes. Pokemon Omega Ruby, awesome. Grand Theft Auto 5, which was awesome as well on PS4. Didn't include those because I didn't want to include remakes or remasters, games that come up again. That's like Metro Redux, which I haven't played yet but own and want to, and I'm sure that might have shown up on my list if I included remakes. Then there were games that just came out this year for the PlayStation platforms, such as Rogue Legacy, which, man, if I didn't have the 11 games I had on my list, that would have shown up there. I actually had it on my list for a while because I didn't really know what else I wanted to include. But Rogue Legacy on PS4 has eaten up a lot of my time and still does. Might actually do another stream of that soon, but that's against the point. But yeah, and then there was Child of Light by the same guys that did Valiant Hearts, which was awesome. Everything being done in rhyme, that was really cool. Freedom Wars on the Vita, which I'm still playing slowly. That might have been included if I had gotten further. Who knows? Maybe I'll do another video on that in the future. And games like WWE 2K15, which I really enjoyed. But unfortunately, it just wasn't good enough to be on the top 11. Not for my standards, anyway. So yeah, lots of games this year, so much fun. And like I said at the beginning of this video, guys, I really want to know what were your top 10 or top 11, top 5, top whatever games of 2014. So please let me know that down in the comments section below. And as always, I've been Lord X. You've been awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.